Is somebody sharpening around here?
They are. I'm going to tell them to turn it off.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, that's too noisy for now. There we go. We are live now, Kevin. At least we should be.
Hi.
Yep, there we are. We're live.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. I am doing pretty good.
What are you
I'm going
doing?
to take this off for.
What are you doing?
I am getting ready for this week's Japanese Knife 101. Oh, I'm all tangled up.
All right.
There we go. That's not too bad. I have to wear a mask because the store is open until like right now. So yeah, so today, Tuesdays, is for Japanese Knife 101. And if you are watching on Instagram, you should probably go over to YouTube, so knifeware.com/YouTube, because you're going to get the other half of the conversation. Kevin is joining us.
I'm right here.
Well, he's a big part of this. You can't hear him on YouTube or on Instagram, but you can on YouTube or Facebook if you rather. So today, I figured we would talk about. Nathan put us down for like a cut like a chef. So normally we do one of each in a week, but I don't know, something's up with scheduling, so we're doing it today. But I thought instead of kind of fussing too much about like recipes and particular food and cooking techniques, by all means ask questions if that's what you want to learn about. But we're going to talk mostly about do's and don'ts when it comes to knives. If you're amicable to that, Kevin.
Yeah, we're gonna be making a salad too. I hear, right? Making a salad.
Yep.
Using a nigiri.
Mm-hmm.
And talking do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. So I find like if you've ever bought a knife or you've been in the shop and you've engaged, at least in the Ottawa store, I'm sure the other shops are very similar. When we're talking about like when we get to the point where you've chosen your knife, you know, we go through all the knives in the store, and then I'll give you a choice out of what we've got in stock. Then we go through the care sheet. And the care sheet, I'm going to grab one just so you can see. The care sheet is, I always say there's one side that tells you about your knife. Tells you about the blacksmith, tells you about what the knife is made out of, if there's any kind of neat terminology that you want to know, like, you know, the type of finish or what the handle's made out of, the type of steel. I always say all the nerdy stuff is on one side. And then all the stuff you need to know to take care of it's on the other side. And I used to call it do's and don'ts, but it's mostly don'ts.
It's all don'ts. I don't think there's a single do on there.
Well, there's after use, wash the knife by hand with regular dish soap, rinse with hot water, and dry by hand immediately. It's kind of
that's good. That, you know what? I wasn't the last one to edit those because I wrote those a long time ago. When I wrote those originally, they were all don'ts.
Yeah. I did have one come in the store today. So another thing to kind of that's worth mentioning is if you get a knife from Knifeware, the first round of sharpening is on the house. So there's a little coupon on the bottom of this that tells you, you know, it says one free sharpening. So someone brought one into the shop today, Kevin, and it was one of the old ones.
Oh, it was still my email address? Or was it sold and had my phone number?
No, it had an email. It didn't have your phone number.
Oh, because the really old ones used to have my phone number too.
But isn't that crazy? Like sometimes we'll get knives that were bought 5-6 years ago, and they just now. I think it's a matter of like, I think it's pretty nuts to have a knife that long and have never sharpened it.
You know what? I've got knives that haven't sharpened in 5 years, but I got a lot of knives.
Yeah, but see, that's where I was going to go with that. Was that like, well, maybe they're not seeing as much use on a day-to-day basis, you know?
Maybe.
But that Kagura or that Masakage Kujira, that 150 I sent you the picture of the other day.
Yeah.
I got that really sharp. Took a lot to like thin it out though. Like I thinned it out easily enough, but it took a lot to make it look pretty again.
Really?
So, it did, but luckily I'm going to plug Naoto. Naoto does like the advanced sharpening on Fridays with Kevin.
Yeah.
And I took a lot out of some of the more recent ones that he has done and applied it this weekend. I was
good.
very, very happy. Yeah. Yeah. I'd never really used, I never really used finger stones before, like using a piece of stone as sandpaper, but I liked it. It was good. I did a good job. I would have given myself a pat on the back. So, all right. We got some people with us now, Kevin?
We do. We've got some people. Listen, right now is an excellent opportunity. If you want to get any answers, if you have any questions, just ask us while we're doing this. Chris is going to use a Nakiri, and he's going to make a salad, and we're going to talk about how to use a knife, how to store a knife, how to cut things, how to keep it sharp, that sort of idea. I'm here monitoring all the places we're at so that you can ask any questions you want. And just type a question, whether it's related to what we're doing or not, just type it in, and I'll shout it out to the Chris, and we'll make him work hard for his salad today.
Yeah.
What are you putting in the salad today? I'm interested. Are you putting crickets?
No crickets. Although
have you ever eaten crickets?
No, not purposely. Although I know like that cricket flour is getting pretty popular. I'm pretty sure Alex bought a bag of it, and he was like throwing it in stuff, like trying to get. Alex, the assistant manager in Ottawa, is he's much more muscular than I am, and
than anybody really.
Yeah, and so he, I think it's because of the crickets.
Yeah.
Little Lion.
Little Lion. I have no idea. It just ended up in my life recently.
Nice.
For
Who
a little
makes that beer?
4-pack. I don't know.
Oh.
The Lewiston Ultra. Maybe it's Little Lion makes it. Lewiston Ultra trail running events are hosted in Shuswap, British Columbia, and Kananaskis, Alberta. I have no idea. Oh, born in Colorado.
All I know about Kananaskis.
So this is made by a company in Calgary called Born Colorado. They used to be called Born Colorado. Now they're called Born in Colorado.
Oh, okay. All I know about Kananaskis is that there's a lodge up there, isn't there? Doesn't Delta have a hotel up there?
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, it's changed hands recently. It's a really cool lodge, and it's right by Nikiska Ski Hill, which is super good. Listen, we have somebody asking, or just saying, hopefully you'll have finger stones available online soon. Yes, the plan is we will have finger stones online soon. Naoto and I have a few rocks to work with, but we have to cut them or break them up. He's got a plan, so he's on these things. So soon we'll have finger stones. Probably once we do crack into that huge rocks we have, we'll have enough finger stones until the zombies eat all of us. We'll probably have finger stones forever. No way. Listen, is that did you just buy that? Did you buy that, Chris?
No, I haven't bought it yet. I haven't bought it yet.
You wanted to buy that.
I want one of these knives so badly. I need one. But
yes, you do.
Payday's on Friday, so maybe. Oh, Chef Max just joined on Instagram. So if you guys are on Instagram, you should probably go to YouTube, because then you can see the angle's better. The angle's better. Less of me, more of the knife. But I know I saw
beautiful face.
Yeah, and Kevin's there too. But I saw Chef Mex, who just joined, recently bought a 165 Denka Nakiri. I saw that on Instagram.
No.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
No.
I saw he tagged us in it, or I just saw it. I was cruising through. I don't know. I barely know how the computer works. So
that means the three of us.
It was pretty exciting because he was talking about it.
That means the three of us have matching knives.
That's right. Yeah. Kevin and I both have one, Chef Max. But I know he said he had to go into Calgary. So I know he lives somewhere nearby, but I'm not too sure where.
I think he's
for now I'm using the okay.
I might have made that up. I don't know.
So I'm working on some zucchini here. I like zucchini a lot. I think it is a very good vehicle for flavor because it doesn't taste like much on its own. It's super cheap, especially this time of year.
Part of the zucchini. What are you doing,
No,
Chris?
that part sucks up all the dressing. Oh, he's
Yeah,
in
that's the
Banff,
good-
he said.
that's the good
So
bit.
I cut out some of the seeds out of the middle because these zucchini are pretty big and they feel kind of that feel spongy. So I'm not gonna. If I was gonna cook it, I would
That
keep it.
happens sometimes. That happens sometimes. They
Yeah,
get
if
kind
I
of.
was gonna cook these, I would keep it. But look how I'm holding the knife. This is like a lesson that a lot of people need. Okay, notice I'm not holding it way back here. Get right close to it. All right, it's not gonna bite you. That's how you're intended to hold it. Okay, and then your other hand's job is to guide it. Really, you know. Yeah, I'm just lifting the knife up, banging it against that knuckle, and chopping away. Now, I prefer to chop like in this like kind of up down motion. I don't know if anyone can, like, if that makes sense. I really like a nikiri because this is my preferred way to cut anyways. You can, I guess you would call it rock chop, but I find it gets a bit clunky that way.
It does with, especially with that Curie.
But a lot of the
Curie is meant to
blacksmiths
just
now-
be like, just
Yeah.
give them a quick little front push. Chris, while you were talking about how to hold your hand and how to hold your knife, I was giving the old airline stewardess air version of
wonderful.
how to do it. And I was making the old, as Mike always says, you make your hand like this and you say, "What are you talking about?" And then you put that on top of the food. So
Yeah,
your fingers
Yeah.
are curved.
I
in
call
and
it
your-
the
and your hand
claw.
goes down. Yeah, people do.
see, because
like
I
what are
hold
you
my hand
talking about?
open more. See, I go open and I think of
Actually, so do I.
of Thing from the Addams Family.
From the Addams
That's what
family,
I
right?
think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
So
Chef Max,
Chef Max.
he's not
Oh,
giving
you're-
up on
okay.
Instagram. He's not giving
No,
up on
he's an
Instagram, and
Instagram-
he's yeah, he wants to know what knife you're using.
This is a Masashi Kuroshu Nikiri. So Masashi-san is up in Tsubame Sanjo. Uses SLD. So, but this is one of the most beautiful knives in the whole store. I don't care who says what.
Oh, listen, I've got the
Have you-
240 of that. It blows my mind. We talk about that knife a lot because we're really both enamored with it.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of blacksmiths, and I see a lot of their new lines or experiments to doing stuff like that. And I don't generally pop and buy a whole line and give our monthly order to somebody. When I first see a knife, that's really unusual. I haven't done that for years. But then I did do that when I saw this line from Masashi because I knew they were exceptional. I knew that it's Masashi, it's a steel he loves using, and the look was just brilliant. So I just immediately said, right, this is a new line for us. This is our monthly order. Please fulfill it. And this one's for me. It was a 240. So this one's for me. So he signed my name on it.
Well, you know what
Because
I
I
like
was-
about this line
it
in
was just
particular is that they like look the part, but they're not like ultra precious either. Oh, Minority Report saying hi. Hello.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they're not super precious. Like it's usually like if you get a knife that looks like this, I find like, you know, maybe it's with some, like you'll often see like white carbon steel or they're super like almost like too thin. But this knife is meant to be used.
Listen, Simarjeet on
No,
YouTube is asking, are they Uchigomori? Yes. There, that was easy.
okay.
And hey, Minority Report, you can't hear me, but hey, man, we saw his knives a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Okay, I got a
Yeah,
question,
he's down
Chris.
in the States.
We
Yeah,
got
go
a
for
question
it.
here. Do you want a question? We got a question.
I want questions.
The question is, what are you going to be doing with this? What kind of cut are you doing? Do you have a name for this cut? And are you only making a zucchini salad?
Well, there's some other stuff in it. There's some other stuff in it, but I figured zucchini is a good, like, while we're talking vegetable,
Oh yeah.
you know? I guess this would, like, if you're ever like watching the Food Network or you read it in a cookbook, I would say like this is more like kind of like a diagonal slice. A lot of the time you'll see it called like cut on a bias.
Yeah.
You know, that's the word that we would usually use in a restaurant. Like if I was leaving Kevin a prep list, I would say, slice 4 zucchini on a bias.
I'm so pleased you're not leaving me a prep list.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what? I loved being a chef when I was doing it, and now I'm not doing it, and I'm done. I'm very glad to be not being a chef anymore. Listen, somebody on Instagram, one, you should tell them to
that's
join
cool.
us on YouTube, but two, he says, hi, Chris, the most badass thing when you look at the screen while continuing cutting. How long does that take to become confident? My quick answer is, I don't know, but I've bled doing it. I still sometimes.
Yeah, you know what it comes down to though, is it comes down to maintaining contact with that knuckle. It's that knuckle that's guiding it, but it's also important that I'm not, like, you'll notice I'm not lifting the knife very high. I'm not lifting the knife above my finger. I'm only lifting it above the food.
All right. And Simranjit's asking, do you know if they're Jito or Heyuza? And I don't know.
I don't know what any of that means.
I'll just send Naoto a text.
What does that mean?
Don't worry, it's a Naoto thing. I'll just send him a text.
Okay.
I take a screenshot with my camera.
Yeah.
And then send Naoto a text. That's easy peasy. We've got this. We've got the technology here. So what are you doing with you're making zucchinis. You're making a pile of zucchinis.
Yep.
Who's going to eat that much zucchini, Chris?
Well, Sean will. Sean will eat what I give him. Yeah, he's agreeing with me. I'm going to do some zucchini. I'm cutting it real thin because it's just going to kind of sit in a marinade overnight. But I got some lemon here. I got some mint. I got some chili. I got a shallot. Bit of feta. I got some olives. I figure I can just keep chopping stuff up while everyone asks all their questions. And every now and again, I'll say things like, don't scrape your knife on the cutting board to move the food around. Because if you go like that.
How does that work? But how does that work? Don't you want to scrape it?
You don't want to scrape it because your knife. Well, Kevin, why do we like Japanese knives? You always ask me.
Well, because I forget. The Japanese knives are made with, as we know, they're made with harder steel, and harder steel means they can stay sharp longer. And it means we can make them sharper, which is great. But it's kind of like a Ferrari. They're not quite as rugged as 4x4s, right? You don't take your Ferrari, drive it in the ditch, or take it hunting generally. And I think our knives are the same. You have to show them a little respect to them. So just do what they're meant to do, which is cut food, use a cutting board, wash dry, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going.
A lot of people ask, like, is it okay? Well, it's because, like, why we don't scrape, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because even that, like, the edge is thin enough on this knife that if I had it here and dragged it across, if it was stuck in the board at all, which happens because they're so sharp, you're going to leave little pieces of knife behind. You're going to get little tiny chips. Now, it's okay if you're careful to use your Nakiri to scoop up the food. That's one of the best parts of using a Nakiri. But you do want to be careful. Alice is asking on Instagram.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
The Fujimoto Nakiri is sold out online. Will there be some coming into the Calgary location? Definitely. That's a line that we always try to keep stocked. They are made by hand, so sometimes we kind of do. Oh, the hammer tone. They're on the way. I know we recently had some other shapes from them, so that would tell me that they're coming up in the queue.
They're on their way.
I would give it a month or two.
Unfortunately,
make sure you're on that list.
Unfortunately, COVID has slowed down things everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's given us a hard time too. But make sure to tell Alice, Veronica White, to get on the list on our website. If there's a knife you're after on our website and it's out of stock, get on the list, because there's a button there that says call me when it's available or something like that. Get on that list, because as soon as they land in the warehouse, as soon as we open the box, those knives are those emails are sent out to everybody that wants one. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
make sure
and
you go to the
then
list.
so if you're on that notify list, the back in stock list as we call it around here, you get on there. Don't I don't want to be pushy, and I don't try to, I'm not trying to be super salesman-y when I say this, but like don't hesitate. If you get that list or if you get that email and you know you want that knife, there is no reason for you to wait, because there's other people on that list and you don't want to have to wait another 6 months until it gets made again. So I usually urge people, like I try to give a little bit of urgency to that, because you don't know who else is waiting.
Listen,
So I switched over to
you're
Guto
making-
now.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I like that knife. You know, I like that knife. You have that knife, don't you? Is that
I
yours?
do. I'm very comfortable. Nope, this one's the shop's. Mine's at home. I need to sharpen mine.
I need one. Tony's saying, hey guys, what are we learning about today? Maybe we should go quick. We have how to hold it, how to run down your knuckles, and how to make a salad dressing.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, by the way, we've got 2 comments here. Peter is saying, hey man, nobody says no to family meal at work. Because I was talking about how many zucchini you're going to cut. And Adrian Young is the hero of the day. Adrian has said, it's summer, holiday equals Airbnb, luggage includes knife bag. What cutting board? Because Airbnb cutting boards are glass. Arg. Get the small Larchwood knifeware cutting board. It's end grain wood. It fits in a carry-on rolling bag, and it's rad. And it's such a bit of luxury that if you're going to cook a few times in your Airbnb, bring that nice little end grain wood cutting board. It's awesome to use. And you'll
how many times have we traveled? Like, how many times have we traveled and been like, remember when we were in Kyoto and we had to ask Shiba to bring us a knife to use?
Oh, that's right.
Because we
were
in
an Airbnb and the knife was so bad that we had to ask our French
it said Galaxy on it.
So bad. Yeah, that's right. I didn't think to bring a knife that time, which is crazy.
No. So what we're doing today, we're talking more about how to use a knife and like do's and don'ts. Let me adjust that a bit so you can see me. So we're talking do's and don'ts. Okay. So we're just making a bit of a salad. I like kind of summertime zucchini, some olives, some mint, some chilies, nothing too crazy. But I wanted to just kind of focus. We always talk about, like, we get real nerdy on this particular one. We talk about steel and we talk about makers and we talk about, handle materials and this and that. I just kind of wanted to focus a little bit on what you should and shouldn't do with your knife. Kevin's got a beer. Skyrocket 5 is what it says.
From Establishment Brewing Factory. Well, yeah, why don't you tell me why you're using that knife and what you like about it? Thanks. Sorry.
This is one of my favorite knives. I always have this like little knife rainy day fund, so that if like something comes into the store and I really, really like it, I don't have to ask permission. Like I've already kind of like have it hidden away all this money already. So like, and it just so happened like we had like now mine has a rosewood handle because I bought it a couple years ago, but it was they started coming in with the cherry handles and I was like, oh, I like that dark handle. So I snatched it up. But this is a Haruki Kuma. And I bought this knife because up until it, the majority of my knives are either blue carbon #2 or super blue carbon. What's nice about this knife is it's made out of something called SRS 15, which is a powdered steel, which generally speaking, that means they're stainless, but stupid hard. So the harder that, like Kevin was saying, if you miss that, the harder the steel, the sharper the knife gets, the longer it's going to keep an edge, right? So what's super cool about this knife is that it's hard like carbon steel, stays sharp like carbon steel, but doesn't rust. And I think this knife is like stupid cheap for how good it is. Like I think this particular knife is $306. Yeah. Like it's like if anyone is comes into the store and it's, you know what, like it's got a certain look, like it's a little more subdued. You don't have like a ton, like it's not like super Damascus-y or, you know, got a hammered finish or anything. But like for a knife that you're going to use all day and you just want it to be super sharp, there's no reason not to pick this one. And something I really like about it, I don't know if we've ever really talked about this, Kevin, but in here, it's different than on the Western, on the Yokuma, the Western handled ones. It's machined out.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, the thing that sold me on it immediately. Because I obviously, the first knife I ever bought that was a Japanese knife was from these guys, but it was the Western handle, the Yokuma line. And when these came available, I thought, oh, do we need them? I don't know. And then that little, just that one extra step in the choil there to make it super comfortable, just that made me buy the line. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Yeah, like
we got a question about those seeds.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know, is that the really spicy part? Is this a spicy pepper?
This is a spicy pepper, and those are the spicy part. Yeah. So I usually get rid of those.
Someone said you should eat them.
Like this? Let's see
what happens. All of them.
Well, I only got a couple here.
Are they spicy? Because we always say the seeds. We always say the seeds.
Oh yeah, they're spicy. Yeah, that happened. Woo. Oh, Jesus. This is why people really watch YouTube, is to watch fat guys eat chili peppers.
Oh. Are you dying?
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Oh, you look concerned.
I'll survive. It's a concern. Yeah. I used to have this nasty trick that I would play on younger cooks when I worked at the Rito Club. We always had bird's eye chilies in the fridge. And I would always like take one and I'd be like, oh, they're not that hot. And I'd put it in my mouth and I'd like chew and then I'd swallow it. And then the cooks were like, what? And then they'd go eat one. The part they didn't know is that I put the whole pepper in my mouth, pretended to chew it, and then swallowed it whole. Whereas they would then chew up the pepper and then their face would explode.
Oh, you're a terrible human. You're a terrible human. Listen, our man Tim Chan is saying, does the Masakagi 210mm Saya fit a Takamura R2 Gyuto 210? You know what we should do? We should just test it right now live. And he says, additionally, do you folks have any intention to carry your... You probably got a sample of the 210. Anyway, and he also says, do you have intentions of carrying your own brand of Sayas? And the answer is, I would love to carry Sayas. But the problem with handmade knives and handmade Sayas is they're never identical. And what we end up with is a bunch of Sayas that don't fit the knives that people want. And because our warehouse is in Calgary and our two shops in Calgary and Edmonton are very, very dry here, wooden Sayas tend to crack. So they're made in Japan and then they come here and they crack. And it's been an endless pain in the butt. If I can come up with a solution, Tim, if you've got an answer for me to help me, I would love to have Sayas. I would love to have our own brand Sayas. It'd be fantastic. It's always been such a pain in the butt. And we've just wasted so many Sayas from them breaking or not fitting or shipping them to people. They don't fit the knife when they get there because it's more humid there and the wood has changed. So yes, I would love to have Saya. I suppose we can just get someone to build really, really baggy Sayas. Maybe we should try
and then
that.
just because they got the pin on them, you just have to make sure you don't lose the pin. I just went to look. I don't actually have a 210 Saya in the store. We're out of stock. So,
bummer.
But
Listen,
I tried to
Tim Chan, the best
Santoku.
Yeah.
I tried a Santoku on the Santoku, but the Western handle gets in the way of the way the Saya is cut.
Oh, Tim, the best thing to do would be send an email to, I need a humidor for my Sayas. Yeah. The best thing to do, Tim, is to send the email to, who should we send it to? Probably hello@knifeware.com.
Hello at knifeware.com
Asking.
will get you the fastest response.
I know sometimes I like to give people's personal emails because that's funny.
Yeah.
Funny for them getting emails that maybe don't fit their job totally. Like
Yeah, like we should
like
like
don't
send that to Nathan,
email
you know?
don't email Naoto at knifeware.com about that.
Yeah.
But do send Naoto at knifeware.com fan mail. He likes that.
Oh, he does, yes. I wasn't sure if we're allowed to allowed to use red onions again yet. I haven't been paying attention to the news.
Well, don't use shallots
You hear
instead.
about- Like this one?
Yeah. Do you call it a shallot or do you call it a shallot?
I call it a shallot
You
because I'm
call
a bit of a like a barbarian, you know? Like I'm not classy like you are.
I think I lived in England too long. We would call them shallots.
Yeah. Shallots are nice though. In French, they're like échalote, I think. I think it's like an E on the front.
Well, that's nice. It's fancy.
Yeah. So,
We got questions.
well,
Why do you want a
yeah.
shallot for red onion, and why don't you want red onions anymore? Did the red onions say something racist?
No, what happened was there was concerns about E. coli or salmonella in red
Yeah.
onions coming out of California.
Yeah.
So they've and then it turned into all onions that had gone through this certain area that they were concerned about. So then they were
the
like
great thing about E.
recalled.
coli is if you just cook it, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Same with salmonella.
Cook
Just
it, you
gotta
kill
cook it
it.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So raw onions in a salad, bad. Cooked onions on a hot dog, no worries, man.
No problemo. So all I did here, I don't know if anyone caught that. I cut it in half, took the end off, bloop, cut it in half, and then I peeled it. So shallot's just a long onion, but they taste better, I think. What should I do? Should I just keep like slicing everything into long strips? Probably.
Why not?
Yeah.
What's
Cut
the
a little bit
worst that
off
can
the end.
happen? What is the worst that can happen?
Now Sean might complain, but I don't care. This knife is amazing, eh?
You know what? They're crazy. They're kooky.
Yeah, there's something about it. Now, I have to sharpen mine at home, but I've had that knife for 2.5 years and I use it almost every day. And I haven't touched it to a stone yet. So
Really?
it's getting time. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So, yeah. Does anyone out there have any favorite knives? They should probably tell us.
Actually, you know what? I want to know what's your favorite knife for cutting green onions, and is it the same for cutting shallots and white onions? What's your favorite onion knife, and do you have a favorite knife for different onions? Chris, go.
Okay.
What's your favorite onion knife?
My favorite onion knife is probably going to be a Gyuto. Is probably
by the
going to
way-
be this.
By the way, it's a totally normal question to wonder what your favorite knife is for onions.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
completely
Because
reasonable.
my favorite green onion knife is a Nakiri,
Yeah, easy,
without a doubt.
easy peasy.
Let's see if a Nakiri is my favorite shallot knife. No, it's a Gyuto. Because I rock back and forth, like between this idea of like rocking or just like pushing. Like there's no real rhyme or reason to why I do it. You know? Yeah, that doesn't feel right. But that does.
Interesting. I love a green onion knife. I love a Nakiri for green onions, and I actually like a Nakiri for all onions. Isn't that weird?
Yeah?
My favorite Nakiri right now. Do you want to know what it is?
Tell me.
Hadayuki Kokuto.
Oh, yeah. Do I have one of those? I have
I
one
don't
in the case.
You should try it, man.
I'll go-
It's a great knife. It's
I'll
a great
go get
knife.
one.
It's a great knife. It doesn't break the bank. I think it's. I even want to say
I've
it's
got-
under $150. I think is it? Is it under? No, it's not.
You're getting close. It's 189.
It's 189. Okay, so it's sub 200 bucks
So that
for a handmade knife, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite Nakiri right now. It's just making me crazy.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
they're
that
These are like
it feels more sturdy. It feels more sturdy
Yeah.
than some.
This is like
Go on.
the Christmas knife this year, I think. The Kokuto. Like this is the perfect
Christmas
knife to.
knife?
Oh, it's the perfect knife to give as a gift.
Yep, agreed.
Like the fit and finish is good.
One right
You
here
know,
in front
like
of me, the chef's knife.
Yeah, they're easy. So when I'm helping people pick out knives, I give a lot of knives as gifts too, as you can imagine. Like I work here. You've got like my train of thought, and Kevin, stop me if you disagree. But I think there are like three things that you need to focus on when you're buying someone a knife as a gift. Like it needs to look cool. Has to look
Yeah,
cool. You
has
open up the box, and they need to say, "Holy shit, thank you." Right? Not like, is there something special about this? You don't want that.
You don't want. Oh, is it? Oh, a knife. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it needs to look cool. It needs to be easy to take care of, right? If you buy someone a
Yes.
carbon steel knife and they're not now, if you're like, say you're buying a knife for like your brother or your sister, and they're like a professional cook, they've already got dozens of knives. Maybe they're not a professional cook. They're all about knifeware. They've got a ton of stuff. Carbon steel might not be scary for them, but to the average person, it's like giving them a hamster for Christmas. This is something now that they've got to feed and take care of. And a lot of people don't
Yeah.
understand what goes in. And you know what? There's a care sheet in the box, and you're going to tell them like, hey, you got to wash it and dry it right away. And they're not going to, and it's going to rust. And they're going to like call you and say like, oh, you bought me a shitty knife, and you didn't. And you're going to like, there's going to be a rift in your family over this. So what you want to do is
don't buy somebody a shitty knife.
You want to get no, that's not it, Kevin. We don't sell shitty knives.
Yeah, that's what I said. Don't give someone a shitty knife.
Yeah, no shitty knives. So, but you want something that's going to be easy to take care of, like that powdered stainless SRS 15 is a really good. That's one of like the super crazy ones, like R2. Those are the really really hard stainless steels. But like the Kokuto, that's a great like Ginsan. It's super easy to take care of. It's not a really chippy steel. Like it's not gonna, a lot of people come in, and I don't know if you ever heard this, Kevin, but a lot of people like, I don't know where they're getting it, but a lot of people are of the mind that shuns are really chippy. You ever hear that? Anyone's ever like?
Yeah. Do you know why people?
Particular.
Do you know why people say that? I think is because
I have a guess.
shuns, I think, were the first real Japanese knife to hit the North American market. This is my guess anyway. And because
that's where I was going to go.
And because people were using them as they did their old European knives that were much more rugged, but not as sharp. So they were using the shun knife and it's way sharper. And I think they were using it going, man, this is so sharp. It can do everything. I'm going to cut a shoe with it now. And I'm going to cut a lobster in half, and I'm going to cut a beer can. And I think they just abused
Chef Tony.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they just abused them, right? And because the abuse caused them to chip, I think a lot of people went, oh, shuns are really chippy. And then they'll come to us and buy something different, but then they'll also treat it nicer.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's like, it's the one they learned their lesson on, I guess. It's got some mint here. So if we're buying a knife as a gift, we want it to look nice. It's got to inspire you to cook, right? Presumably the person you're buying a gift for, right? So you'll know what they like. Maybe they'll think that looks really cool, like if they're into kind of like Japanese design.
You know what? I think
something that simple and elegant.
I think that knife with that handle is so cool. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Big. I'm a huge fan of this knife. It's got to look good. It's got to be easy to take care of. And you know what? You don't want to like destroy your bank account buying presents. Now that means different things to different people, We're not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't spend. But, a lot of the time, if you're buying more than one, then maybe, something like that, a 189, that's a great knife to give as a gift.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What's your salad looking like right now?
I've got.
And what are those?
My chili is.
Are those?
This is mint.
Is that some kind of legal herb there?
I believe mint has never been illegal. I haven't seen any posters for the decriminalization of mint, but
Yeah, Minter Madness. I saw I saw that film in junior high.
I forgot that even existed.
Minter
Reefer
Madness.
Madness.
Oh, it was
Oh my
Reefer
God.
Madness.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And all my friends, like, oh, well, thank you, Tyler. I'm quite good at the old chiffonade. Yeah, just like all my stoner friends from high school too. Like, you gotta watch this movie. It's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was the other one too. It was like, oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch. You gotta be on drugs when you do it. It's like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie without the drugs.
Well, it scared me, and I have never tried that since because of that.
Ever since.
Yeah.
Look, I even got some. I never say these olives properly. They're the Cerignola, Cerignola.
Well, I just call them
They're the real good ones. The big green ones. So I'm just gonna slice off some. Maybe I'll use a different knife. You know what I almost, and I don't know, this is maybe some weird sort of Chris Lord bias here.
It might
But
be
I
because you're
don't-
left-handed too.
I am left-handed, but I don't, the only Santoku that I own is the one that I made when I was in Takafu. I don't own a Santoku. I'm just realizing that now.
You don't own a Santoku?
I don't own a Santoku.
That's strange.
So now
I've
I'm
got
gonna.
I've
It is,
got
isn't it?
I've got some of them for sure. My default tends
Yeah.
to be a 240 or a 210 Yuto.
Yeah.
Don Penny.
Yeah, I like the 240. Oh, Don
Listen,
Penny
Chris-
knows what's up.
Chris Lord. Don Penny, who makes better brisket than you, according to him, says use
Yeah.
a 360 millimeter Sujihiki for those olives.
Don Penny, there's a 360 millimeter Sujihiki on my desk right now. And that if Kevin takes out his dad joke book, that'll give me time to go get it. And just like that, I've
Hey,
left.
Chris, what do you know? Chris, what do you know about Switzerland?
I don't know much.
I don't know much
Well, you
either,
disappeared,
but
huh?
their flag's a big plus.
I've heard a really good dad
Serious.
joke the other day. I heard a really good dad joke.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he had no body to go with.
Oh, Jesus. Here's one. I heard this on the radio the other day.
It's got to be good.
What do you give? Oh, yeah. What do you give an elephant with diarrhea?
I don't know.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So I came back, Don
What-
Penny, with this big Sujihiki. And this kind of reminds me of when I went to Takafu and we went to visit the Takamuras. And I got to hang out with their father.
Yeah.
He gave me a knife even bigger than this. Oh, this Don, it's sharp, but is not the right knife for the job. But I'm pretty good at it. Oh, now this knife
Yeah,
is
you're not bad.
cut up briskets, steak, and olives. That's what I've used this for.
You could use that one for slicing capers in half.
I could, yeah, from across the room.
Well, you just line them all up.
Oh yeah, just like when I did that video for if you guys are watching, you may have seen it at one point. Like I made this video a couple of years ago of slicing some grapes with a kotetsu.
I remember that.
Yeah, I just took I cut one side off them so they would like sit on the cutting board. And like, I won't like, the knife is really sharp, but I did not get it on the first try. Okay.
No.
Like,
I know there's a lot of
and, like,
comments
I
like,
draw-
oh, he's cheating or that's camera trickery. It
Or
amused me. I think
my
somebody
favorite
said, I
one-
think someone said you glued the I think someone
Yeah,
said you
glued the
glued
grapes down. No, what happened is that I went through 25 grapes and like sharpened a knife real good, like, but it's, yeah, my favorite one is when they accuse me of using CGI. I was like, well, if I was gonna do that, I'd like make an alien jump out of it or something.
Well, I'd have lined up 95 grapes.
Oh
Sliced through
yeah,
them.
like why stop at 4? Don, this is not the right tool for the job. I'm gonna tell you that. This
Listen,
is heavy.
this is an interesting question. For an avid home chef, would you buy a 210 or a 240 Gyuto? I know I've got my advice for that, but what would you say, Chris?
What I generally tell people now, I presume you're asking us because you don't have the opportunity to pick one up. I always, when someone says, I want an all purpose chef's knife, I want something I'm going to use all the time, I put a 210 and a 240 in front of them. I make them pick up the 240 first. And I ask them what their reaction is. If they say, oh, that is way too big, then the answer is the 210. If they pick up the 240 and they're like, this might be a little bit big, then I'm like, oh, well, then that's the knife for you. Because
Yeah.
you'll grow into it. If you're just, you don't want to get something where you're, yeah, you don't want to be terrified of it.
No.
But you can do more with one. You can do more with a big knife than a little knife. I'm going back to this. I love this knife.
Yeah, I'm the same way. You know what I think? I think a 210 is a great knife for home. Most people have a cutting board that accommodates a 210. But what I love about a 240 millimeter Gyuto, like as a chef, if I'm going to be cutting, 60 pounds of potatoes into hash browns, that extra length just makes the knife more usable, and it makes my life easier by the end of the day. I don't have to work so hard with a little knife. Bigger knives just make easier work. And honestly, my biggest Gyuto, I've got a 360 millimeter Gyuto.
Yeah.
Which is super fun, but not a knife for everybody. And the first time I used that, Chris, did I ever tell you that? The first time I used that, there was a camera crew had come into the shop.
Oh, yes.
I just got my 360. This isn't it, obviously. But I was holding it, I was talking, and I was kind of waving my hands around, and I stabbed myself, boop, right in the palm. But like from this far away.
I know the punchline of this story. I do know this story.
Yeah, and I picked up a rag that was near me, right? Picked up a rag and held it in my hand because I was bleeding, and I kind of finished the show. And it was a tour, it was a group of media people, and one of the guys' names was Terry David Mulligan. If you're as old as me and watch Much Music or been Much Music, Be Much Music, you would know who he was. Anyway, on the way out the door, as I'm standing there, saying goodbye to the 8 people there and the TV camera and the whole bit, Terry David Mulligan leans into me and he just whispers in my ears, he's leaving, hey, the show must go on, right? So I thought I'd got away. I thought I'd got away with stabbing myself and bleeding everywhere, but he clocked it anyway. Maybe the other ones were tricked. Maybe the other ones were tricked. I don't know. Somebody said. I would say I would say a 210 is kind of my default for homes. If you're confident with knives, get a 240. And also maybe look at the knife you usually use at home now and figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think
because a lot of people
210 is safe. 210 is safe, and 240 is a lot more fun and a lot more utility. Think just cutting like huge watermelons, right? It's just a lot easier to do it with a 240. But if you're scared of a knife that big, don't get it. Somebody's saying, do you recommend using the swept back heel? I think he means this part here, as a scooper to dig out eyes of potatoes, or or pit some fruits. I would be cautious about pitting a fruit. I think you would chip the heel of your knife. I think you'd put a chip there.
Yeah, the heel is more delicate than you think it is.
It's a pretty sharp little point at the end there.
Yeah.
So I think you might damage it taking the pit of a cherry or something out, or a peach. My God, you'd destroy it. But I think you can dig out a potato eye with that for sure.
Yep. Yeah, just like this olive. I got an olive pit in my mouth, so. But you would just take that and you would just scoop them out. Little twist. Kind of like you're fluting a mushroom. So
If I had a mushroom,
Yeah, 'cause
I'd show
when
you
I
how to
first
do the mushroom. If I had a mushroom, I'd show you how to do that right now, man.
I know. That's why I said it. I know you like doing it.
I do. And because I had to. I worked at a golf course briefly where I had to flute a bunch of mushrooms daily. And the first day I was there, I said, "Yeah, I know how to flute mushrooms," and I didn't, and I was terrible at it. And everybody mocked me for it. And then I went home that day. Must have been my day off, and I bought like a whole box of mushrooms, and I
Oh, you
fluted
would.
mushrooms. I fluted mushrooms at home until I was good at it.
Yeah, you.
And then I went.
You
Then I
would
went
do
back
that
to
too.
work, and shut up. Of course I did. Don Payne doesn't know what fluting a mushroom is, but he makes better brisket than you. That's what he brags to me about all the time. He
Yeah,
sends me
I gotta
private
start.
messages. He sends me private messages and says, "Hey Kevin, Chris Lord's brisket is terrible. Mine's the best."
I
Things like
gotta
that.
I gotta start like paying attention to the comments when we do these things. Next time you're gonna like cut something up, and I'm gonna read the comments so I can see all this trash talk from Don Penny.
It's mostly Don Penny. He's terrible.
Yeah,
He's terrible.
I
But he
don't
doesn't
know
know
what I
what
did.
he doesn't know what fluting a mushroom is, so he's clearly not that
means he's lived a better life than you and me. You know?
I mean, he didn't go to prison or go to the army.
Yeah, or culinary school, if you will. Where are these
No,
boys?
see, you're young. You don't understand, man. When I was cooking, when I was like, maybe 5 or 6 years into my career, maybe 10.
Yeah.
People would honestly ask me. They would say things like, "Oh, you cook? Did you learn when you were in the army or maybe prison?" It's like, no. You can go to other things. Like you can go to school, for example. But
Yeah.
what do I know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
I
a
know.
funny thing.
Look at my salad.
Another question is, what does the salad look like? What all have you put in there? What knives did you use?
Okay.
And are you gonna put in some kind of pig grease or something to hold it all together?
I got some olive oil. I got some. I just put some lemon juice in. I got some feta here. I'm a big fan of feta. I don't like using a knife.
Oh, not for feta.
No, feta is a finger. You don't need knives for feta. Don't tell Kevin I said that.
No, it's true, man. It's just only using a knife to cut feta into cubes is just too gauche.
Yeah,
break it, man.
It's too much. Yeah. So yeah, this is. I got some zucchini in here. I got green and yellow zucchini. I got some chiffonade mint. I got a julienne chili pepper and a shallot. I got a lemon worth of juice and zest. So I've only actually got one half of the juice in there so far. I don't know.
Zest. I love put the zest in all the time.
Yeah, I never I always use it.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
It just makes everything taste better.
Yeah. And then I got what I got over here. I got some olive oil. I put some olives in it too and some mint. This is how you make a dressing at night.
I love mint. I love mint in the summer. Mint in the summer with olive oil and garlic and onions or shallots on grilled meat. Oh.
Yeah.
This makes me happy.
I got this
grilled vegetables too.
And mint is one of those, like, if you plant it, it'll take over your garden. You'll eventually complain.
Yeah, you know what? I have to be honest, I have a small patch of mint that's escaped the garden and got into the grass. So when you go and mow the grass, at one point you just walk along and go, "Oh, mint." To be honest, I think it's my favorite part of mowing is that I get to run over the mint and it smells great for a second.
Rosemary is a good one.
Justin is saying, unroll a cucumber into paper thin toilet paper, kind of paper thin.
Oh, I can't do that. I've tried.
I can also not do that. Yeah. It is really embarrassing how bad I am at that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do it. Maybe I'll just get a case of it and just practice.
Yeah.
Worked for fluted mushrooms.
I'm waiting to find like a really wicked left-handed Asuba.
I'll find you one.
Yeah, if you find one, I'm all over it. Look at that. That looks okay, eh? You'd eat that?
I can do that. I'd eat that. I'd eat that right now. I'd eat that. I would eat that with some
Yeah.
grilled anything. Some grilled
Oh,
fish,
some
some
fish.
grilled
You know,
chicken.
it'd be really good with this mackerel, grilled mackerel,
Oh,
mint
mackerel,
chilies.
mackerel with a bit too much salt on it too when you grill them. Oh, baby.
yeah.
Oh, baby. Look at you, you savage. I mean, you heathen.
I'm a heathen. Well, that's good.
You
I'm good at
barbarian.
this. Just ask me. Just ask me how good I am at this. I'll tell you.
Do you know what I love about cooking shows is they make something and they eat it and they go, oh, that's delicious.
Mm.
I was on Kevin Costwood's show once and I made bouillabaisse we were ice fishing and I made
I remember
bouillabaisse.
that.
Yeah, and I tasted it and I was like, oh yeah, I could have done better.
Yeah.
We all had a good laugh. He goes, it's TV. You can just say it's great. I was like, yeah, but I could have done better. There wasn't enough orange flavor in it for me. Stupid. I'm supposed to just, as soon as it hits your mouth, you're just supposed to go, wow, it's the best thing I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Well, I'm not drunk and this isn't poutine, so it's not.
So we're clearly not on the Food Network then.
Yeah, they don't want me.
Hey, I saw some exciting stuff on the news yesterday. It looks like the Republican Party in the States is having a big party. And I saw some people on there that looked really excited, screaming about things. It was this one young lady was very, very excited. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. No.
She was very excited. Anyway, any news you want to talk about? News? There's a new leader in for the Conservative Party of Canada. His name is Peter Toole. He is vowed to take Canada back. I don't know if he means take it back from somebody who stole it from him, or if he's taking Canada back to somewhere that it's left.
He's the guy who kind of looks
know
like
what he's taking it back to, right? But we'll find out, I suppose.
He's the guy who looks.
I think he kind of looks like Mike Grinch. No, I don't think so.
No,
I think he looks like Mike Grinch.
I know who it is. I get most of my news talking to Kevin, so I haven't really talked to Kevin much yet today, so this is all new to me.
Well, here's your news. Here's your news. Establishment is making some great beer called Skyrocket 5. That's good news. I went on a very fast bike ride today. No, his name's not Peter O'Toole. It's somebody O'Toole or somebody Toole. Aaron Toole.
I looked up Peter O'Toole, and he looked like he'd go for it. He was the right age.
I don't know if there's no questions. Maybe it's time to just say sayonara.
Well, Ron is saying bon appetit. We're getting kicked off Instagram anyways. So for the few of you watching on Instagram, just for the record, it's a lot better if you watch on YouTube. If you go to knifeware.com/YouTube, you'll see a little live video pop up. You can hear, like, it's not just me talking to myself. Like, I got headphones on, like Kevin's in here. But if you were on YouTube, you could see him. So we do this every week. Yeah, Tuesdays. Tuesday is the day for Kevin and Chris's Japanese Knife 101. This week we were cutting stuff up because that's what Nathan told us to do.
All right. So, listen, I got some fun questions.
Go for it.
I've got a question here about a double bevel Kiritsuke, like the Moritaka 240, which I know a lot intimately. About that, you know that one intimately. You have that.
Yeah, I do.
Could Jeremy use the Moritaka Kiritsuke, probably the Ishime one, I'm hoping. But anyway, the 240, could he use it to go through the spine of a salmon to separate the head from the body without chipping the knife?
This is Jeremy I'm talking to?
You're talking to Jeremy. Look right in the camera and say, Jeremy.
Okay. Jeremy, you can, but you better be careful.
What does that mean?
So
What does that mean?
let's say, here, let's move my salad. And let's get that. You know what? You're going to just pretend that this 270 is the knife you're talking about.
You want the 270 anyway.
Yeah. So there's no 240 here. So I got a 210 and a 270. So obviously I'm going to go bigger. The knife,
really.
even though I would say that this line is heftier, you know, it's still a very thin edge. So what I would do is if I was going to cut off the head of the salmon, I would do my best, like go in slowly. And if you're offered with any resistance, back off and kind of look to see what you're doing. You can get through the vertebrae, but you're aiming for, it's kind of like when like Luke Skywalker had to like shoot into the little exhaust vent. Like it's not a big, there's not a lot of room there, right? It's not like a chicken, like a thigh and a drumstick, where it's very obvious. The thing that I say about using knives, especially when you're doing something that you know you might not be supposed to, never ever force it. All right. I use my Hanazuki. I've got a Koishi Hanazuki, super blue carbon steel, very, very hard, often described as brittle. I cut chickens in half with it all the time, but I know what I'm doing and I'm taking my time, right? So be gentle, go for it. But if you're like, you should never, like if offered resistance, you should never be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it. That's when you chip your knife, right? But if you're taking your time and you're in control, you should be able to, but just know that whenever you're doing stuff like that, the possibility of chipping the knife always exists. So if you do it and you do chip it one day, don't get too mad because, you know, you might do 50 of them and never chip your knife. And then on the 51st one, you do. I don't know. Would you change anything about what I just said, Kevin?
I would say that when you do, if you're going to do something bad like that, you're going to put it through a salmon spine. Now, if you're talking those spring salmon, some of those monstrous spring salmons, I'd be even more careful. But I find if you cut to the spine and just push it down, like don't whack at it and don't do that kind of thing. Just do, you know, use your fist and push it down. Also, when you're doing that, don't twist it.
Yeah.
Don't twist it or twist it anyway, because for sure you'll break it. But I've done lots of bad things with knives, things you're not supposed to do, but I've got away with it because I just did it easy. Like get in there and just push it through. That's my advice. We've got more questions though.
I'm taking a look here too.
What do you think about doing pork belly on a Conroe? Well done, Penny. I'll tell you what. I have some cured pork belly. It's actually desalinating right now. I salted it and sugared it too heavily. So it's in water right now in my fridge, but I'm hoping that tomorrow I can go and cook it on the Conroe. But I also just bought some cherry wood, so I don't know if I think I'm going to cook it on the Conroe, but on cherry wood, not Bincho charcoal. What do you think about it? And that's like going to be that's going to be a big, fat, flabby, like a big chunk. We've done it lots where you just slice it and fry it like slices of, and that's amazing, like truly amazing.
Well, that time when I did that dinner that you came out for at Oz Cafe, I did pork belly on skewers, and what I did was I just cut them in. Yeah, I just cut them into like about just shy of a centimeter thick. Season them with, I make this like, I've talked about it when we were doing the Conroe videos more during the summer. But I make this seasoning out of equal parts MSG, white pepper, and salt. And I put it in the blender until it's like super, super fine, like icing sugar. And then I go nuts with it. I just throw it all over the place. But you want to grill it over a lower heat because there's obviously a lot of fat in pork belly. You don't want it to all come out all at the same time because then you're going to get a lot of flare-ups and you're going to like set your house on fire.
What I do, if my Conroe's this big, basically I use half of it or maybe 2/3 of it, so I can put them on there, and when they do start dripping fat, I can move them to a place that's not flaming. And I keep playing that game of back and forth.
Yeah.
Or get a spray gun, I suppose.
Yeah, but I do what
Water
Kevin does
pistol.
too, because I've got the really big, I've got the biggest Conroe, like I've got the longest Yakitori one, and I'll leave 1/3 of it with no coals in it a lot of the time if I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know, I might even just like stick a couple of bricks in it, just so, you know, it's a bit of an insulator. It'll kind of hold up the charcoal on the other side too. But yeah, pork belly on there is amazing. Yeah.
Gary is saying, do a show on caring for Japanese knives, including sharpening? And if you have, I missed it. I will check Knifer's YouTube page. Thanks, gents. Gary, we've done a lot of sharpening videos, and and this kind of leads into what Tim was saying. He was saying you should do some videos of fixing badly damaged knives. Do you know what? Every Friday at 4 o'clock, now it's when I meet up at the warehouse, and we fix some badly damaged knives live. So that's one of the things, and that goes on YouTube. I think it goes on Facebook for sure. I think it goes on to YouTube.
Yeah,
as
Facebook
well.
and YouTube. Yeah, and then on Facebook and I believe Instagram, they've been doing Owen or Francis out in Vancouver does a live sharpening class on Thursday evenings.
Yeah.
That you
Does
can
Kasumi
actually
still do
watch
this
while they're
Sunday?
doing. No, I think Kasumi's had to stop. I think they've gotten too busy.
Yeah.
Because that was like as they were opening on Sundays, but they're doing it as they close on Thursdays. So the fellas in Vancouver are doing it, so you can watch and, you know, ask questions in the moment, much like what we're doing today. And then that way, you know, if there's a particular technique or a particular piece of equipment that you want to see, they can go and grab it. Same as when Naoto does it on Fridays. So Owen's class is geared more to like, this is a sharpening class for beginners. They're going to work, usually they work on a chef's knife, and they go through kind of more of the standard steps, and they're there to ask questions, where Naoto's class is more of the advanced techniques, rust removal, achieving certain finishes, more heavy duty repairs, things like that. So,
Yeah, we
And
did a big
Don
rust
says he
one
wasn't
last week. Last week? 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago,
No,
we did a
Rust
big
was,
rust one.
what was last week? What were you doing last week?
I wasn't there last week. I don't know what we did.
Oh.
I was away.
That's right, you were. And then Don says he was worried about if they would be too tough. Now they are tougher if you do the pork belly like the way I described, but not in an unpleasant way. It's kind of when we were going to
Do you
Japan,
have teeth
Kevin.
though?
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Like you just got chewing. It's like a crispy piece of. It's like the outside of a roast is really what it tastes like. You know, because you got a lot of caramelization. There's some nice crispy bits.
Oh,
It's good for you.
so gross. Hey, where's the best restaurant in the world?
The best restaurant in the world is somewhere in Kyoto. It's near the little canal in Gyeong. I don't know how to get there. It's up the street from the guy who's trying to lure you in.
He loves me.
Yeah.
He loves me.
Fell
All
off
right.
his bike
Well, I
one time.
think it was the. Yeah, he did fall.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Oh, so
All
that'll
right.
be like, so I did a video we put up on Instagram, and I had said like, if you, about Fujiwara, and I said, if you want to hear why Fujiwara calls me Pink Lady, you need to come into the Ottawa store. If you want to hear about the guy falling off his bicycle in Kyoto, you got to come into the Ottawa store, because I can't say it out. I gotta trust you to tell you the story. I can't just throw this one out.
Adrian Mar Hernandez says the French Laundry is the best restaurant in the world.
It's not in Kyoto though.
Yeah, I've been to both. Listen, I've been to the French Laundry and I've been to the one in Kyoto, and I've been to the one in Kyoto often, and I fantasize about it. The French Laundry was lovely, but Hormone Taisho. I know how to find it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Kyo Hormone Taisho.
Just meet
That's what it's
Kevin
called, Kyo
at the
format.
Kyoto train station. Get the
Yeah, I'm
taxi
easy to
line up
find.
at the Kyoto train station.
I'm easy to find.
And I could get there from there. I could do that. I think. Oh, that's the Adrian Chef
Yeah.
next. Oh, okay. Okay, it's all coming together now. That's why he's chirping us.
Oh, French Laundry, Mr. Chef Max. I was trying to be polite too. Not being
Yeah.
polite to Banff boys anymore. I was in
Yeah,
Banff
Chef
recently.
Max.
Listen, Adrian, have you gone? I keep going up. I keep doing the bike ride on the 1A from Banff to Johnson's Canyon. It is so much fun. I might actually go tomorrow. It's so much fun. You should do it if you haven't done it. Chris, don't walk away, Chris.
I'm just putting stuff away, man.
I'm afraid we're over. Chris has lost the plot. He's just. I think we're actually done. Chris has lost the plot and he's moved on. So I'm going to show you my my cute little knife that I have here today.
That's a good
Again,
one.
because I think, God, it's so good looking. Right.
Yeah, they're
Like you said,
that
you
is
think this
the
is the Christmas knife of the year. I think you're right.
Yeah,
And
that's the one.
we'll see you next week.
Oh, Gary.
What should we talk?
Gary is such a shit disturber. Gary says Harvey's is the best or much better. Meals made by yourself. Are you my dad, Gary? That's something my dad would say. Well, my dad's name is Danny.
I've met your dad. His name is Danny. Yeah.
No.
But Gary,
No.
maybe your dad's got a new online
Maybe
persona.
an alias. What's the word?
All right.
Wicked. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about for next week. But thanks for joining us, everybody. Today was a lot of fun.
Oh, you know what we should talk about?
Tell me.
How do you store your knife and care for your knife?
That's good. We can get some blade oil out. We can get some knife bags out and got blade covers and sayas and blocks and all that. That's a great idea.
That sounds like fun.
Storage.
Yeah.
I'll even show you how to put up one of these knife magnets. We can even talk about how to make your own guitar magnet if you want.
Ooh, yeah. Step one, buy a shitty guitar at a pawn shop or on Kijiji from a 15-year-old.
Yeah, go to a pawn shop and go to Princess Auto. Step 1 and 2.
All right.
All right.
Ciao,
Have
buddy.
a good one, everybody.